His teammate Tristan McKenzie worked tonight. How were you able to get to him in that fourth inning?
I mean, since the first batter, we really grind every at-bat. We take good chances today. We take our pitches. We take walks. We put it in the ropes in the first inning. I think we did a great job as a team, and that's what it takes us to take him out of the game early.
How much of an influence do you feel like you've had on this offense as a whole?
I don't know. I'm just trying to do my job. I'm here just to get on and let Josh do his thing. Whenever I can do damage, I'm going to try to do it, but it's a whole team work. We got to do it little by little. We got to do it as a team.
A long day of baseball, but a good day of baseball. You sweep the doubleheader. Now the 5th series win to start the season. In your mind, how has this team been able to gel so quickly?
It's just the way we handle those things. I think right here we have a great energy. It's a great vibe, and I feel like everybody wants to do the same thing, that is a winner championships. So I think that make it easier for us.
Cody Petit was making his first start on a big league mound since 2022. How impressed were you by him tonight?
It was great for him. Great. I mean, I'm more than happy to play behind him. He was pounding the strike zone, putting guys to get ground balls and everything. I mean, that's really, really exciting to see from a guy like that, and making his way back since 2022. I think that's even better.
Juan, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Aaron, before the game, you said you felt like Cody Petit earned this opportunity, but could you have asked for much more from him tonight?
No. He only had 80 pitches, so to go 6, obviously in the second game of a doubleheader, huge outing. He pitched. That's what we know we got, and I thought he did a great job mixing 2-seam and 4-seam, and then with the changeup and the secondary stuff to get off the barrel. So really strong effort by him.
First time on a big league mound since 2022, coming back from the injury. Just what do you think tonight meant to him?
I'm sure it meant a lot. And anyone that's been through injuries that take you out for a long period of time and miss seasons and things like that, there's a lot that goes into getting you back to this level and to perform like that. And so I'm sure today was very, very gratifying for him, and he pitched great.
Aaron, how much do you think you guys putting a couple on the board in the first inning maybe, helped settle in?
Tough to say. You always want to do that, and you always think that's settling. So I'm sure it didn't hurt. And then obviously, adding the big inning, and he kind of took it from there. So it may have played a role in helping him settle in, but he was pretty sharp there in the first, second, and pretty pitch efficient too.
Managers talk about how difficult it is, regardless of the opponent, to sweep a doubleheader. Just what about that accomplishment today?
It is. I mean, just because it's gets complicated, or it can get complicated in the bullpen, and you use certain guys to close out a victory that you're not going to have the next game, and you say regardless of opponent, we're talking about a team that's really hot here early in the season that we're playing too. So not an easy thing to do, especially when you spend the whole day here and the split doubleheader and everything. To walk out of here with 2 is definitely nice, with an opportunity to have a great weekend tomorrow.
Is that kind of in line what you saw from Petit this spring, or is this even better?
Yeah, I think he had a couple outings where it was like, ooh, like we knew right away, like he can help us and he's going to play a role for us. He had a couple outings too where he struggled. I think, his last outing of spring. But part of that is also, getting back at it and having your first spring training where you're competing again and building up. But I think we all felt like when we got him over the offseason that he was going to be a guy that could play a role for us, and he sure looked the part tonight.
Juan Soto's 25, but is now homered in 26 of 30 MLB parks. What does that just say about his talent to be so good so young?
I mean, he's great. He's a great player. So anytime you throw things like that out there at a very young age, when you're the caliber player that Juan is, it's not surprising. I'm sure before long it'll be 30 out of 30.
Aaron, all the substitutions late, a result of the score?
Just getting them out, yeah.
You guys lead the league in walks. I think also pitches per plate appearance.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you attribute that to?
Outstanding approach, guys locked in, guys taking a lot of pride in, as we talked about, hittings. It's not always results every night, and you're going to take your lumps sometimes, and the pitcher will have his way. But they're taking so much pride in individually going up there and making it a battle every at bat. However it ends, I'm going up there to make this pitcher earn it. And I would say that's been the best thing in the first couple weeks of the season offensively is, regardless of whether we get results or breakthrough or whatever, I feel like the opposing pitching staff has felt like they've had to earn it, and that's a good place to be.
Well, Jack, you called the Yankees offense menacing. I think Boone just said that. He just said it a little differently, right?
Yeah, he talked about every at-bat being a battle. And, Bob, he has said that consistently throughout the season. And it's an approach that the Yankees came into 2024 trying to make sure that they were going to employ. Obviously, you go into every at-bat wanting to have a positive result, whether it's a hit or a walk, just getting on base somehow. But what Boone consistently talks about is making sure that in the process of trying to make that happen, you make that pitcher work. So even if you end up lining out to shortstop or hitting a fly ball that gets caught in the gap, you've let that pitcher know that you were on top of pitches and that you weren't straying out of the strike zone, so that even when you make an out, it's been a chore for that pitcher. And we mentioned it earlier in the show. You could see both Carrasco and McKenzie today out of the game early because their pitch counts got so high.
And one example of that, I think, is when Giancarlo Stanton drew the bases-loaded walk. There's a guy that could do damage, or in the past has swung at an awful pitch, potentially. He's not doing that right now. It was a great at-bat, and it cost the Guardians.
When that walk occurred, I turned to you in your office, and I said, Stanton doesn't have that at-bat last year. He probably would have chased one of those other pitches. He wouldn't have had such a productive at-bat, but he knows the lineup that he's in right now. He knows that in that situation, you've got to make McKenzie throw strikes. He happily took the walk. It produced another run for the Yankees. And if the Yankees can sustain this with their offense, they are going to be menacing. There are going to be a lot of teams that are preparing for this offense, and you have to pick your poison. If you don't throw strikes, you're going to end up walking some of them. You get guys on base, and that's a recipe for trouble for the opposition.
Aaron, how are you guys able to grind down McKenzie tonight?
I think it just starts with, good at-bat after good at-bat, really sticking to our plan, the whole game, trying to get a good pitch to hit. And we know he's got some nasty stuff, good heater, good slider, good feel for his curveball. But, we really tried to lock in, on the zone that we wanted, and we were able to execute that.
Fifth series win to start this season. Just overall, what have you thought of the offensive approach by the team?
It's been impressive. Like I said, we do a great job of wearing down the starting pitching. And then when you do that, it kind of forces the hand of a lot of teams to go to their bullpen to certain guys they don't want to in situations, or, like game 2, game 3, you're facing guys that, you normally don't face. So, just up and down lineup guys having great at-bats and, working the count, driving it when they get their pitch. So it's been impressive.
What impressed you about Petit tonight making his first big league start since back in 2022?
Wow. Just he attacked the zone, got a lot of ground balls, really made our defense work up the middle. And, when you do that, especially with a team like that, it's got a lot of great speed. They can put the ball in play well and kind of drive it all over the park. And when you attack the zone and kind of force their hand, good things are going to happen.
No one knew it was his first big league action in 2 years. You said that pretty meaningful for him to get out there today and do that.
Yeah, it's impressive against a team like Cleveland that's been rolling. They've been swinging the bat well, just all around having a great start to the year. And for him to come up and, like I said, attack the zone, getting the good counts, kind of put the pressure on them all night, that, makes our job easy as an offense. We just got to go out there and get a couple of runs.
How much of an impact has Oswaldo had at the bottom of the order with the production that he's given you guys?
Oh, it's been impressive. Even going back to that first game where, we were able to scratch out one run early and kind of really didn't do much after that. And all of a sudden, Ozzy comes up, tries to lay it down and bunt and, ends up hitting a 2-run homer that gives us a lead. It's having him at the bottom and kind of turn the lineup over and get it back up to the top. That's what you need. And that's what's been so fun about this year so far is just a complete lineup.
How much has he grown since he first came up, Oswaldo?
He just matured as a hitter. This guy's always been mature, had a great head on his shoulders. He's always played the game right, been aggressive, done his thing. But, now just at the plate, I feel like he's taking his walks. He's not missing his pitch when he gets it. It's just he's a big part of this team and this offense right now, man. We love to have him here.
Well, the offense is really rounding into form. Jack, I mentioned some of the numbers that Judge had. 2 hits in the opener, a hit and a walk in the nightcap. Alex Verdugo, 2 hits in the opener, scored 4 runs over the span of these 2 games. So a lot of guys, not only multi-hit games we're talking about, but also multiple times on base creating that traffic.
Yeah, we talked about earlier, too, that Judge and Torres haven't reached their stride yet. They haven't gotten to the point where they're going to get to because of who they've been in their career. And I liked what Judge said during that interview about it being a complete lineup. Last year, the Yankee offense was not a complete lineup. They struggled offensively. They were in the bottom 5 in the major leagues in so many offensive categories, and that's how they ended up being an 82 and 80 team. I know it's only 15 games. I know there's a long way to go. They haven't even played 10% of the season. But you can already see that this is a different lineup with a different approach. It starts with Juan Soto. He was very understated and humble when Meredith asked him about what he has meant to this lineup. But he has meant so much in what he's doing and in the way that he's impacting all the players around him.
What Poteet did for the Yankees tonight is nothing short of remarkable. 6 innings of 1-run baseball. It's his first win since May 23rd of 2021 with Miami. That is 1,056 days between wins. Jack has already mentioned that, as did Meredith. What an accomplishment for Cody Poteet. Here he is post-game.
Cody, so how meaningful was this start for you to get back out there on a big league mound?
I mean, super meaningful, priceless, and an amazing, experience, something I would have dreamt up like as a kid playing wiffle ball in the backyard. So it was a super fun night, and yeah, very thankful.
Any added emotions tonight because it had been since 2022?
Yeah, I definitely was, coming back from injury, missing most of last year, and just being back out there on a major league field. It's just such a privilege and not a guarantee. So yeah, just very thankful to be able to be out there tonight.
How are you able to be not only effective but incredibly efficient out there as well?
I think just great defense behind me. Wellesley called a great game, and I was just focusing on executing. And yeah, I think our game plan was really able to keep things simple for me and just go out there and focus on execution.
How would you describe yourself beforehand? Nervous, excited, anxious, combination of all of those things?
Yeah, I think just a combination of excitement and just nerves a little bit because you care so much and you want to go out there and perform and help the team. And yeah, that was my goal out there, was just to compete, do my best, and try to help the team win.
Did you get settled down a little bit with the offense putting 2 on the board right away? Does that have an impact on you?
Yeah, that's always nice to see. I mean, there's not a sigh of relief, but you got to still go out there and compete and not let up at all. But I mean, the guys really came out tonight and hit well, so it's a fun game.
When did you get word that you were going to be coming here?
What was that?
When did you get word that you were going to be?
I was about early afternoon yesterday. So yep.
When did you get in?
Midnight last night. Yeah.
What does it mean for your confidence to know that you can do it again?
I mean, it's a huge step forward in the right direction, and I always had the belief in myself that I was a major league starting pitcher, and just go out there tonight and put a good foot forward, and I think it's a good step forward for the rest of the year, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity and thankful for the Lord and getting me back on the mound and healthy and an opportunity to play for His glory out there. So that's it's very meaningful for me, for sure.
You were with these guys in spring training, but to rejoin them now as a 12-3 ball club, I mean, how would you describe the role that they're on, but also the chemistry in here too?
Yeah, just exciting, to come into this type of atmosphere, and the way these boys are playing is just a lot of fun and what you kind of dream of as a baseball player. So yeah, that's how kind of a dream, I guess.
Well, Poteet talking about it like a dream. It took him a long time to get back, Jack, and I just look at it, the team that he beat. Now, you could say the Cleveland Guardians aren't the top team around, but they were 9-3 coming into this series. Everybody can hit. He held Jose Ramirez to an 0 for 3 I mean, that's saying something that he beat a really good team.
Juan, Ramirez, Naylor. I look at that Guardians lineup as being one that can absolutely make a pitcher's night a miserable night, and instead it was Poteet who, in a very efficient way, silenced Cleveland. I love that Meredith asked him about that efficiency, because as I'm listening to Poteet, and we don't know where the rest of 2024 is going to take us, there's so much of the season left. You know the Yankees are talking about him tonight and saying, okay, what's the best way for us to get the most out of him this season? He'll return to AAA, and he'll return to the AAA rotation because they will want to keep him stretched out. But what he did tonight is something that is going to resonate with the Yankees, especially that efficiency to go out there and to be able to get through a lineup without throwing a ton of pitches. We talked so much before the first game about Clark Schmidt needs to get through the third time in the order, needs to get through the sixth inning. He didn't. And then Cody Poteet follows up, a guy that very few people have heard of, and he does exactly that. So he's got a role in the future with the Yankees, and I'm really curious to see what the rest of the season holds for him.
Well,
I mean, he struggled with his command. The big misses, was really uncharacteristic of him. Just got himself into bad counts and wasn't able to put hitters away, and they took advantage.
Defensively, you guys kind of struck out a lot. Is there anything different today that you saw just from the hitters?
Nothing really that I saw differently. We were making weak contact early in the count, and also, chasing quite a bit. I think, don't know why. I think it was just a one-off. It was a rough day for us. Excited to turn the page and get back out there tomorrow. But, we have a good team. We have a good lineup. I'm not concerned whatsoever. It was a tough day.
With Tristan, I know that you guys knew that coming into the year it would be a build-up for him just because of everything he went through last year. Is there any concern, though, just with the time it's taking for his velocity to build up?
I don't know if we're concerned quite yet. I think, he shows signs of it. He'll flash 92s up there, quite often. I think for him it's just finding the consistency in his delivery, finding the consistency in his release point. Again, it's not necessarily every pitch. It's the big misses that, where's that coming from, I think. And that's, obviously Carl and the pitching team are working very closely with him every day. And, again, just trying to find Tristan that rhythm and getting back to being himself.
Steve, why hasn't he been able to strike people out? I mean, he doesn't seem to be able to finish people. He had one strikeout tonight. Is there a reason? Is that?
I'm not sure. Part of it could be the inconsistency just with his delivery, or inconsistency of executing pitches. Because we do see some sharp curveballs, we see some sharp sliders, and we see some good life on the fastball. It's just getting that consistency back, I think, will lead to more punch-outs.
Nice to see Florio kick one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun to see somebody homer against their former team too. It's always good, But his at bats have been pretty good the past couple days. He's been in there, and we got a good team, and it's really hard to get everybody in there. But Flo, I've really liked Flo's at bats, and he made some nice plays in the field today too.
Steven talked about consistencies and just your delivery and trying to find that. Where do you feel you're at with that?
I felt pretty good on the mound. I also felt like I didn't command the zone early. I feel like I wasn't getting ahead of a lot of guys. But that's been the case for the past 3 starts. So just trying to figure out where we move from here. But all in all, I felt good.
As a competitor, do you feel like you're still trying to ramp yourself up or get back into a rhythm?
There's probably a lot that goes into the game that I haven't been really paying attention to. But I think you're always trying to go out there and put your best foot forward. I feel like I've been scuffling my first 3 starts, so just trying to figure out how I can kind of smooth some of that out, make some of the long innings a little shorter, make some of those long at bats a little shorter, get some quick outs, get the guys involved in the game, and just kind of get a little past 4 or 5 innings.
Can it be frustrating trying to figure that out on the fly?
I wouldn't say frustrating is a word. I think when you're out there, you're trying to compete, and it's just kind of hard to do when there's a lot going on at once. But I think it's part of the game, so you got to learn to kind of deal with it.
Are you still searching for your velocity, Tristan, or how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's there. I feel like you saw it more towards the end of the start, but just trying to figure out how to keep a little bit more consistency, like Steven, like Voter said, and just trying to keep it from pitch 1 to pitch 90 or however many I throw.
Did the play in the first inning, that loaded the bases, Did that just keep the snowball rolling almost a little bit? Or?
Honestly, that's kind of on me. I didn't even realize that they called him safe. I didn't realize that they called it back. So when I initially did get my first out of the inning, I thought it was out 2, and I was a little taken aback. So the game kind of sped up on me there. But outside of that, I mean, I think it's a part of the game. Guys make errors, guys make outs, guys don't make outs, and I think I make mistakes too. So being able to pick up for my teammates just like they pick up for me.
It is a speed limit enforcement of 100 kilometers ahead of about 400 meters. It is a speed limit enforcement of 100 kilometers ahead of about 200 meters.